Welcome back. This is Rochelle Rosenberg again into your panel. So by the way, I am doing a sketch over this canson paper. This canson paper is especially made for sketching, for mixed technique like acrylic, oil, and such. So when you're gonna do a painting, you have to have at least a picture that you can follow on what kind of picture you want to portray on the canvas, and then you have to finalize the sketch. So right now, just from my imagination and from the portrait that I'm looking, I'm trying to sketch a man, and that I'm trying to just sketch the basics of the painting. So I am sketching his body, his face, just the basic of the eyebrows, the eyes, a little bit of the nose, and the arms, and do not forget even the shadows of the clothes over his arm. And just as when you sketch, you always have to think about where does your painting gonna end and what are the message that you want to portray on this painting. So as for me, I have the thoughts about myself of praying, and I was thinking about what are the things that I want to say to God if I would be standing right in front of Him. So as you see, for me to level some of the things, I have to use a ruler. And the ruler is also a good guideline if you want to sketch, because you will actually know where to place some of the details like the eyes, the nose, how wide is the face, and the spaces between the eyes, the nose, and the lips. So the ruler is a good thing to have a tool as a sketching. So always remember to have a good pencil as well. I am using a ℻𝕝𝕚𝕚 pencil for sketching. You can as well use an ordinary pencil if you'd like. It is by your choice. So when I'm thinking about this painting, I always imagine myself talking to God, and all of the thoughts that I have in mind mostly are just about the things that had happened to me and where I am now, all of the things that I have experienced and how I have overcome them. And only by prayer I could express them. Maybe some of them are so detailed that I cannot speak it to some of my friends, but gradually I could speak them in a prayer. And at this point, I am sketching a little bit more detailed a scroll, because this man is holding a scroll, and I could imagine that the scroll is a little bit large. And I try to sketch as well some of the details of the tallit that he have. In the Hebrew language, this stuff that the rabbis have over their shoulder is called talit. And so forgive me guys if you'll see that the name scrolling down below is fast, because this is a fast forwarded video. So now I'm painting the face with the base color of red. I like to paint it with red because it's most likely close to skin color. It's mixed with a little bit of white, so it's kind of pink actually. And then I am putting on a little bit of brown over the places where there's shadows and where I'm gonna put the whites. And you could see that I'm painting gesso. A gesso is a base medium that you can use on a painting. And now I'm painting again another bit of red over the hand. As I have told you, red for me is a little bit close to skin, and do not be afraid to put on the painting, because whenever you put on acrylics, you apply acrylics over the painting, they will become a little bit lighter later. So now I put on the green over this head, and I put almost all over the clothing. Actually, this green color is not actually the color that I planned, but under the process, I don't know why I just chose the green. So now I have taken a small detailed pencil and I am painting over an eyebrow. I am actually using a color of brown. It's an ochre. And then I am painting the eyes. The eyes is half closed, so I have to think a little bit about the spaces of the eye between the eyebrows and the eyelids, and then I have to think about the nose. And then I covered, and because I'm using the brown color, I also used it as a shadowing color. To make it simple, I even used this brown ochre to shade up the beard of the man. So as you can see, the face had started to come out a little bit more than before, and now I'm trying to allow the face to dry for a while and go on to the hands to put on the shadings using the same color, the brown ochre. And since this is the only skin that is seen in this image, so I'm kind of satisfied with the color. Now I'm just using the same brown color that I used on the beard, on the shadows of the face, and on the eyebrows. It's the same color that I'm using now on the scroll, because the scroll is a wooden stick with it and designed with a round flattened wood. So I'm using that same color and putting a little bit of black on it to make it a little bit darker underneath. Now I'm putting on a yellow ochre on the piece of paper and a little bit of brown on the shadings down below. I am using a small detail pencil to cover up all the yellow places of the paper. And since it's a half open, so I also have to think of the spaces and how the texture of the paper would look like as well. Using the brown ochre, I am painting a little bit of the edges so that it can be seen that it is a paper. Now, as you can see, I am writing on the paper some of the details. I'm not actually writing a letter, but just something to represent the letters that are written in there. It's important to emphasize the details in the painting. Now I have painted gray all over the clothing, and since I'm gonna paint white over it, I have to put on a little bit of black and white, just a dot of the black and a lot of white over it, so it will become gray. And while it is on the dry, I have to use the same detail pencil over the head to put on some shadows, because underneath that head covering of that man, he have something else that covers his head, something like a bonnet or so. And then I'm trying to detail the clothing over his head. And now, as you can see, I am painting it with a little bit of white and a lot of dark in it to show where the shadows are. So now I have put a lot of gray in it because the light shadow is in front of him, so it should be a little bit dark on the side of his head behind. And as I've told you, I have changed my mind again. It's supposed to be green before, but now I'm putting on a little bit of yellow on the top of his chest. And as you can see, there's a big contrast. When I painted yellow from down below, it looked like a little bit of brown or something. Because sometimes on my painting, I am not so decisive of the colors. Sometimes I just know how the painting would look like and some of the details, but the colors mostly are changing under process of my painting. So as you can see, it was green head coverings before, but now it became a little bit of white. So now I'm emphasizing the shadows of the clothing and emphasizing the folds over his hand and trying to pretend how the clothes look like as he carries the palette over his shoulder. And I think I overdo it a little bit. So we're just gonna go on to some of the details, and remember to think about where the shadows are to make it a little bit more realistic. So now I'm using the white as the highlight over this clothing, and first I put on the white on the top of the shoulder, and then some spaces I covered as well. And as you can see, now the white had become more seen, and it showed more how the clothing looked like. So now I'm just going around a little bit of the painting to refine the edges, refine some of the details, especially when you are painting something that is white. You cannot just miss it. Now I'm using a blue color, and you cannot see them actually from the camera because there are very small details that I have to put over the clothes, and I have to be a little bit more detailed here because there are like small lines of blue, and if you don't have patience about this, you will find yourself doing the same thing like I'm doing right now, I'm a little bit of lazy, so I just put on the blue all over. But it looked good anyway, I think. So now I'm back on the beard and trying to put some of a little bit more dark and presenting a little bit of hair on the side of the face. And since it is a rabbi, there should be a hair on the side of his ear, which is uncut. Now I am refining a little bit of blue and white to show the continuation of the clothes on the other side of the man. So as you can see, I am so undecisive that I just continue to go on to the white shades and put a little bit more over excessive white. I think I am the same even in my prayers. I usually say a lot of things to God, and most of the time I keep repeating them. And who knows? God is still listening to all kinds of prayer, because prayer is the utterance of every heart and in every message that you convey to God. Those are the message and the best wishes of your heart. And when you pray, always remember to be honest with your words, to be honest in speaking even the smallest mistake that you have ever done. Never conceal your mistakes and your sins. But just in prayer, you have to be open. In prayer, you have to reveal yourself to God. So now, as you can see, I am again over the top of his head. It was green before, but it became gray, and then it became yellow, and then it became red. So this is just like how we are in life. Sometimes we choose certain things at that moment that was suitable for us, and then gradually we change things over and over in our life that we thought were suitable for us at that moment, until we find one thing that actually makes us feel a little bit more comfortable. And now, as you can see, I am gonna work out with the background. So I am using here red and white. I'm just trying to scatter out the colors behind the man. And see. all the edges. As you can see, I'm a little bit satisfied with this, or I'm very satisfied. And now I am using a small detail pencil and trying to write Bible verse, but I regret it because the verse that I'm gonna write is kind of long and I want to write it in Hebrew. And if you want to find out the meaning of the Hebrew letters that you will see here, you can find it in Psalms 40. So now I'm writing every letter from right to left, every letter of the verse. I have studied Bible history in the University of Israel, and I'm so glad that I have learned a little bit on how to read and write Hebrew. My grammar is actually not very well because it's not my language, but I could read and understand a little bit some of the words that are written in Hebrew if we just refer on the Bible. But when it comes to conversation, I'm kind of out of place. Maybe I can understand just some small topics or so. So remember that when you pray, always open your heart to God. And before you pray, always remember the people that you have done something wrong with. Always think about asking forgiveness to God means also that you have to forgive others first, because God forgives, and we as human has also the power to forgive others. Because why would God forgive us if we cannot even forgive others? And why in the world would we ask something from Him if we are not even as humble and not even honest to ourselves? And being honest to ourselves is by being open, letting go of the things that we cannot change. And I tell you that by prayer, you can change a lot of tremendous things, and you can even discover many powerful things that you have never ever seen before. And since, as you can see from the picture, that it is about praying person, every word that you pronounce has a power to change your life. So always be specific on what you will say. Always be gentle, and always in your prayer, open your heart and open up your needs to God. Do not be shy. Do not be shy, my friends, because you know that God listens to every utterance, even with the prayer that you have in your mind. Some prayers that cannot be uttered, He knows what you are talking about. So, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I appreciate so much that you are staying and watching until the end. So I wish to see you again, alright? God bless you, and I hope that this painting had relaxed your mind a little bit. See you.